Chapter 3 of Sethstory, Chicago, before the bar fight. I was living in Aurora with Steve, just to catch you up. So I told Steve he had no lease and he was disrespectful. I was leaving Aurora. He tried to steal my laptop to keep me from going. I explained that I was done. I called the cops. The cops came and told him he needed to give me my laptop back or he was going to jail. My friend Chris got me an apartment after hunting around for a bit. Back then it was easier to find an apartment. He found me one on Pine Grove in Chicago, and that's where I started over. The mid-phase years. I worked at mid-phase for 6 years at 223 West Jackson. That's where I learned that your talent will threaten people, that your success will make them uncomfortable, and that they will turn on you for it. The company was full of workplace dysfunction, sexual harassment, discrimination, HIPAA violations, protected health information shared like gossip. I documented it all. The violations, the harassment, the way they talked about people's private information like it was nothing. I filed a civil rights complaint with the city of Chicago about what happened there. They lost the file, literally misplaced it. No investigation, no consequences. But I was good at what I did. I built systems, I solved problems, I was valuable, and that made me a target. Lakeview. During those mid-phase years, I lived in Lakeview on Patterson. That's where I met Paul, Ish, and Chris. We spent many weeknights and weekends going to all the bars in Lakeview. Paul liked to DJ at one of them. Ish and I and Chris would visit all the dive hangouts. We had good times getting to know each other, developing long friendships that have lasted decades. In all my years fighting the system and all the chaos and betrayal, those friendships kept me anchored. Paul, Ish, and Chris. They were real. They stuck around. That's rare. Leaving. In 2013, I left mid-phase. The workplace dysfunction had worn me down. The discrimination, the HIPAA violations, the way they treated people, I couldn't be part of it anymore. I took time to recover, rebuilt myself, worked on my career and my health. By 2014, I was ready to go back to Chicago. The return. Ish let me stay with him when I first came back. I got a full-time job at SEO Solutions in 2014. Good work. I was good at it. I moved to Patterson again. Second time living there, back in Lakeview, back to what felt familiar. Then in 2015, I got hired at Figgy. Another full-time job, more opportunity, more work I believed in. I was building again. I had a job, an apartment, friends. I thought I was stable. I thought things were changing. In 2015, I moved in with James on Francisco. The raid. Thanksgiving 2015. I went to visit my family. When I came home, my life changed. Midphase has sued me. Wire fraud, they alleged, charges that made no sense. Retaliation dressed up as law. 30 officers showed up in my front yard. FBI agents. They didn't knock. They didn't ask. They took me into custody for a hearing. James was in the car with them. Terrified. They asked him questions about Midphase, a part of my life he knew nothing about. He had nothing to give them. He was just caught in the machinery of the pursuit. He watched about 30 officers in our front yard, watched federal agents take me away, watched the system move against me like it had moved against me 100 times before. The case was dismissed, all 45 counts. It lacked jurisdiction. Their entire case was built on nothing, but the damage was done. April 22nd, 2016. I turned 39 years old on April 22nd, 2016. I went to Jackhammer Bar to celebrate. I was still living with James on Francisco. I just got a job at TTC. I thought maybe I was finally building something that would last. I had no idea what was coming. When I got home for my birthday, things changed. James was done. He kicked me out. Everything I owned went into storage. I was homeless again, sleeping on someone's couch. No apartment, no stability, no home. I had just survived a bar fight, and I had just been arrested by police. I had just been sued by Midphase. Now the person I lived with had thrown me out. I took some time off from TTC, from work, from trying to build something. TTC. At TTC, I made new friends, real friends, China, Iana, and others. We had a nice group there, people who got it, people who weren't trying to destroy me or use me or take what I had built. It wasn't much. It was a job and some friendships, a paycheck, but it was honest. Alexis. While I was taking off time from TTC, I met Alexis. We call him Alex in this. He told me he had an apartment. He told me about the housing. He told me he could help. I didn't know yet he was going to try to destroy me. I didn't know that he was going to sexually harass me and my guest. I didn't know that he was going to refuse to sign a lease agreement. I didn't know he was going to lie to the judges about proper service. I didn't know he was going to talked to every free legal counsel in the city of Chicago to make sure I had no lawyer to fight him. I didn't know that my cat would be taken away forever. I just knew I needed a place to live, so I took it. Alex was jealous. I even had a job. Toxic and nosy. Couldn't use the kitchen or the living room. I stayed mostly in my bedroom. That's when I decided to fight back. With the little resources I had left, I filed 2 federal lawsuits.